The family has ruled the country for more than 40 years. Nick Paddington tracks their rise to power.
We're beginning the formal request of asking each of us to make the most important decision many of us will make during our tenure in the United States Senate.
For senators, a rare chance to debate a president's decision to launch military attacks abroad. The administration, a personal experience of war, delivered the same message. The world is awaiting America's response.
Hezbollah is hoping that isolationism will prevail. North Korea is hoping that ambivalence carries the day. They are all listening for our silence.
Left to make the military case for a military act.
We apologize for that break. Now, Ariel Castro, the man who kidnapped and imprisoned 3 women in Ohio, is dead. The case has shocked and horrified people around the world. Castro repeatedly raped the women and kept them captive for a decade. Last month, he was sentenced to life in prison plus 1,000 years. And just 33 days after he was found hanging in his Ohio prison, authorities are calling it an apparent suicide. Castro's attorney says earlier request to have the client evacuated by a group of psychologists was denied. Here is more. Well, we're going to bring you that story later now. Now in India, a holy man has been accused of an unholy act. The 72-year-old and influential spiritual leader is accused of raping a 16-year-old female follower. Lisa Facilica has more. I'm afraid we're going for a break now. When we come back, the news continues.
On cage aquaculture, yet the initiative could doubly help to increase domestic
And back to Fidel Castro's story, the man who kidnapped and imprisoned 3 women in Ohio is dead. The case has shocked and horrified people around the world. Castro repeatedly raped the women and kept them captive for a decade. Last month, he was sentenced to life in prison plus 1,000 years, and just 33 days after he was found hanging in his Ohio prison. Authorities are calling it an apparent suicide. Castro's attorney says early request to have his client evacuated by a group of psychologists was denied. Here is more.
I'm not a master. I'm a normal person. I am just sick. I did not pray on it. I just acted on my sexual instincts.
Last night, he was found dead, discovered at 9:20, hanging in his jail cell at the Correctional Reception Center in Orient, Ohio, near Columbus. He had been sentenced to life in prison plus 1,000 years for kidnapping and sexually assaulting 3 women for over a decade. Castro was being held in protective custody, the only one in his cell, with guards checking on him every 30 minutes. Prison medical staff tried to revive him and rushed him to the Ohio State University Medical Center. He was pronounced dead at 10:52 p.m. Castro received few visitors while in prison. His daughter told CNN back in May that she wanted nothing to do with him.
My father's actions are not a reflection of everyone in the family. I have no problem cutting him out of my life. I have no problem doing that. I never want to see him again.
Earlier this month, the house where Castro tortured his victims was torn down. Neighbors rejoicing during the demolition of the so-called House of Horrors. At his sentencing, he apologized to his victims, but remained defiant about keeping Gina De Jesus, Amanda Berry, and Michelle Knight locked up in his home for around a decade.
I do have value for human life, because every time I came home, I would be so glad of the situation. As crazy as it may sound, I am truly sorry for what happened. To this day, I'm trying to answer my own questions. I don't know why.
Only one of his victims showed up in person to confront him, saying she wanted him to spend the rest of his life in prison.
Death penalty will be so much easier. You don't deserve that. I spent 11 years in hell. Now your hell is just beginning.
For his 3 former captives, Ariel Castro's death is yet another gruesome chapter in a tragic story.
And again, Castro was in isolation at that state prison, but he was not on suicide watch like he initially was right after his arrest. In fact, his attorneys are saying this morning that they had put in 2 requests for a psychiatric evaluation, and both of those requests were denied.
Now in India, a holy man has been accused of an unholy act. The 72-year-old and influential spiritual leader is accused of raping a 16-year-old female follower. Lisa Fasilika has more.
Amid angry protests by his supporters, this 72-year-old Hindu preacher is in police custody. A 16-year-old girl has accused him of sexual assault at an ashram. Though Asaram Bapu denies the charges, he failed to appear for questioning and police arrested him early Sunday. The girl's parents were followers of the guru, revered by millions for his discourses on spiritual enlightenment. But on August 15th, they allege, he asked their daughter to stay after prayers and sexually assaulted her while her mother waited outside. The guru's lawyer asked why, if she was being raped, hadn't the alleged victim's mother come to her rescue. He also argued the girl was not underage, therefore the charges don't stand. But police say they have strong evidence against him.
Whatever has been said by the victim, we have collected all those evidences which corroborates her statement.
The preacher has claimed he's incapable of rape, but police say a physical test showed he's in good shape.
The team of doctors are saying he is perfectly mentally and physically fit.
Asaram Bapu's supporters say he's being punished for speaking out against the ruling Congress Party's leader Sonia Gandhi and her son Raul. But the Hindu preacher has received supportive statements from opposition Hindu nationalists, leading to questions if he's being shielded by powerful BJP politicians, a charge the guru angrily denies. But the BJP is now distancing itself from him, calling on members to stay away.